Alright, we're gonna watch Mujin's video on the Mr. Beast situation.
Well, guys, I never thought I was actually going to say this, but it turns out Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy Donaldson, is a war criminal. He has so casually inflicted psychological torture on an ex-employee that he literally breaks down crying.
I watched the full video on Dogpack's channel, and it's very fucking sad, dude. I mean, he was actually fucking crying. You can tell that he was actually being truthful. And regardless if he was like, if he had things he written down, it doesn't matter. It's his words. If this was a lie, like, that would be insane. There's no way this is a fucking lie. I mean, come on. If any of you have seen the video, then you know he ain't lying. There's no way.
While trying to recount details. Forget about Ava Chris Tyson. This is not even.
Dude, just look at his face. He looks fucking traumatized.
Related anymore. This is about Jimmy.
He's not acting. In certain way, this is not acting, dude. Absolutely not acting.
As a person and how terrible he is. Because Ava truly was the tip of the iceberg. One of the highest ranking members of Mr. Beast YouTube LLC for a long time was a known criminal on the sex offender registry.
Oh my God.
His criminal record states that the person he did these things to was extremely young. We're talking under 13 years old, and he was only fired recently with allegations that Mr. Beast YouTube LLC is trying to clear his name from public record. Because of course, they don't want this to bite them in the ass.
Of course.
Things are getting extremely.
I mean, it's Mr. Beast. He's a multi-billion-dollar company. Of course he's gonna fucking try to save his own ass from all this shit.
Serious.
Shit that he created.
Let's talk about it. After uploading the first video, which was I Worked for Mr. Beast, He's a Fraud, the much anticipated sequel has finally come out, titled I Worked for Mr. Beast, He's a Sociopath. In it, we see Jake Weddle being interviewed, a stand-up comedian who used to work at Mr. Beast YouTube LLC during 2019 and 2020 as a writer and someone who appeared in the video sometimes. Like in this video, destroying my friend's car and surprising him with a new one. As you can see, he's right here, and he was one of the people who got his car destroyed, and it was meant to be a surprise. Like, oh, they're about to come out, they're gonna see this huge rock on the car, they're gonna think it's a meteor. He knew about it, by the way. This is when things would start to go from real videos to more staged and fake videos. According to him, of course. Now what happens next is that he notices that he's barely making any money compared to how much the videos are generating. And he talks about the political nature of Mr. Beast YouTube LLC, how if you were on Jimmy's good side and you praised him and you stroked his ego, you'd appear in videos more and he would give you random bonuses. But when you were on the bad side, and Jake Weddle was on the bad side, you would get nothing. He would be in videos all the time, but he would then get edited out of the videos most of the time. He tells this to another writer that he really likes on the team, like, hey, you know, maybe we can...
Yeah, he covered he's basically just doing a brief summary of this big 1 hour long video. I've seen both videos, and it's... I don't want to... Mr. Beast hasn't really fucking came out and said anything about this yet. And I've heard two different arguments. That Ludwig says Mr. Beast should say something, and Asmongold says that he shouldn't because of the shelf life on YouTube and the internet. Because like Tectone says in my video that I did reacting to his Twitter rant, everything there's a 72-hour rule, and within those 72 hours people just forget what happens. It's crazy.
Could negotiate a little bit, we can let them know about how we feel, etc, etc. The other writer was reluctant, but Jake convinced him. They both go and try to negotiate, or at least argue their case, and they immediately just are told...
I'm probably not doing a good job. reacting, but I'm at least trying to give my 2 cents on the situation.
Well, cool. The next day they show up, they're fired. Of course, Jake breaks down crying here because he didn't want the other writer to lose his job because he loved his job. But that was the nature of the workplace known as Mr. Beast YouTube LLC. He'd start working there in 2019 and was fired in 2020. He was actually very happy to be fired. He mentions how different Jimmy was off camera, how he had only one thing on his mind, to be the biggest YouTuber, and has no sense of any human empathy. When he would be giving people life-changing amounts of money, he'd be hoping that they cry, being like, yes, please cry. It will be so good if you cry. It'll be so good for the video. Almost like nothing he was doing was real. Jake moves on from this, and by 2021, he had moved to New York to work on his stand-up comedy career. He gets a phone call from his ex-employer, Mr. Beast YouTube LLC, in which he's pitched an idea for a video he'd be starring in. According to him, the pitch made it seem like it was going to be paradise. It was going to be very simple. You're just going to sit in this room, chilling, on vacation. You have an ice cream machine, you have a bed all to yourself, a bathroom, everything you need, really. All you have to do is survive in this room for 100 days, and even better, every single day you sit there, you get $10,000. Only the last 5 days are going to be hard, you're going to be tortured a little bit, but otherwise, easy. And to Jake, this meant 2 life-changing things. First off, he was going to be fully starring in a video, right? He's usually always edited out, and the editors told him it's because of his strong personality. So that's all.
That's so fucking stupid. I don't fucking get that. How can a company just edit you out for having a strong personality? That's just soulless, dude. That is so fucking soulless. I cannot believe. Well, let's be honest here. Let's not be like. It is fucked up. It's fucked up. I mean, come on, dude. That's fucked up. I cannot believe that's what happened.
Awesome. He gets to actually flex his comedic bones. And second, $10,000 a day. He comes from a very rough background. So this is a very life-changing amount of money. He said yes and went back to North Carolina immediately. Now, what many people don't know is that this video wasn't released, and it was a testing ground for the video that did release starring Jimmy called I Survived 50 Hours in a Maximum Security Prison. Actually, what's even more interesting and wasn't mentioned as far as I recall in the video from DocPack was that the same set, the same exact room.
Wait, what? I never knew this part. What the fuck? That puts another layer to it.
But Jake was used in the video $10,000 every day you survive prison. Jake has given us pictures, and as you can see, it's the same exact set. And here's Jake himself. Jake says that while it may look cute on video, the facility had a lot of problems. The hot tub had no filtration system, so it would smell after 3 days. The ice cream machine's dairy was very strong, so it would also be very smelly. This room had a septic tank. That was its plumbing system, so that also was smelly. Overall, it wasn't a very nice room to be in.
Right.
And he had just agreed to a challenge of staying here for 100 days in solitary.
That is... The idea of staying in solitary confinement for 100 days willingly, just so you can get a shit ton of money, that's fucking ridiculous. No game show in the world would ever do that, especially under the conditions that that this guy went through. I mean, what in the actual fuck were they thinking?
No human contact. He didn't even last more than 10 days. You have to understand, Jake is genuinely a victim. This isn't some sob story. He would literally start trembling and crying whenever he would recount what happened in that room. He was cut off from human contact, but the worst part was that they would not turn off the fluorescent lights. And he had no source of sunlight, no windows.
That is a form of torture. That's a war crime. According to the United States, it's sleep deprivation. It's literally torture. It is a actual it is a actual fucking war crime, dude.
He could not sleep. He still suffers of insomnia today. And the symptoms started during this challenge. Imagine being in a room, right? A smelly ass, small, stupid room, and you have no sense of time passing. You have no idea how long it's been, the sunlight, the moon, nothing, zero. This is what solitary is.
Yeah.
It's meant to be torture. He wouldn't be able to fall asleep, and he was expected to do daily challenges almost. Because guess what? The cameras were rolling 24/7. He had to be entertaining. He had to make jokes. He had to look at the camera and say things. You'd know what I'm talking about if you watched the Mr. Beast video before. He of course complained about this, right? It's hard not to complain.
Oh, I've seen this. The whole no does not mean no thing. This whole fucking document is crazy. Highly, what is the word? Invasive. Highly invasive. And intrusive as well. I cannot believe this. To do something. This is straight up inhuman corporate bullshit. Crazy inhuman corporate bullshit. That is fucked up, dude.
When you can't sleep, it's one of the worst things on the planet, and staff wouldn't budge. He'd get visited by editors sometimes and they'd joke around saying, wow man, everything okay? This footage looks horrid. It seems like you're going through a really rough time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was in solitary confinement. And probably, in most definitely, the worst conditions you could be in solitary confinement. Dude, there's a difference if it would be different if the lights did turn off. It would be a completely different story. And like Ludwig said before, he said that Mr. Beast used to do these these offerings where they offer a chance for the player to exit out of the challenge. In exchange, they lose a significant portion of the money. In other words, like the lights. It's so weird how Mr. Beast never attempted to fake this video, even though they were in the midst of faking videos at that time, and it's truly appalling.
No shit. The guy can't sleep. He was able to briefly speak to one of his friends on set, telling him about the fact that they can't turn off the lights, and his friend jokingly said, well, buddy, that's a war crime. We can't even do this to terrorists. That's sleep deprivation.
Dude, that's
and the
fucked
worst
up.
part is, he's right. So at this point, Jake's already thinking, you know what, screw the money, I cannot do this for 30.
God damn it.
This game, you're not ready for.
30 days, let alone for 10. I need to get out immediately. Then Jimmy shows up, asks, hey, why is he sleeping? And staff says, oh yeah, he's having a hard time sleeping. And Jimmy says, well, wake him up. He pulls 2 briefcases and says, hey, we have 2 challenges today. You want to find out what they are? And Jake at this point is sleep deprived. He's like, oh, hey, what are the challenges? Jimmy says, well, the first one is a Rubik's Cube. Jake says, there's no way I can do this. I'm dyslexic. It's going to be very embarrassing. I can't do it. Jimmy cuts the persona completely and looks at him and says, come on, just do it.
What the fuck?
For the challenge, for the video, come on. Jake manages to avoid it, but then the second challenge was running a marathon on a treadmill. And by that point, Jake knew he couldn't just say no. He was going to be forced to do.
Yeah, I heard about this part too. He got fucking blisters. He was in so much fucking pain, dude. I cannot believe this. It makes you wonder, what else did Mr. Beast do outside of this guy? What did he did? What did he not do? Is an even greater question.
Do it, so he did it. No practice beforehand, by the way, no preparation. He had just woken up and he is sleep deprived. And according to him, he ended up running from 12 to 3 a.m. I don't know whether it was 12 p.m. or 12 a.m., but regardless, 3 or 9 hours, regardless, right? You're making someone sleep deprived and solitary run for 3 hours. 9 hours is a war crime for sure. He was allowed to take breaks, but by the end of it, his feet had massive blisters.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what they actually looked like, but it was probably horrifying. They got the on-site psychologist to go talk to him, and the psychologist was like, yeah, dude, it's over. He can't do no more. All of a sudden, everyone was concerned. And he laughs about this. He says, well, guess what? That night, they decided to turn off the lights. The next day, all the staff is there to comfort him, all his friends. You know, he does specify that a lot of them were talking, voicing the fact that this isn't fair. This shouldn't even be happening, that they're treating him very badly. But of course, you know, they weren't the decision makers. Jimmy apparently sat there in front of him like an evil villain and said, like, some of the most cold things. Like, hey, you know, it was horrible, but at least you get to keep the money.
That's fucked.
He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?
Wow. After going through all that shit? Nah, dude. No.
You know how hard it was to do a take of that? And pretend to make it genuine? I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You just be in this cage.
He got out of there and ended up having to pay $44,000 in taxes. So in reality, he got $56,000. Some people in the comments of DocPack's
Oh, wow. Didn't know that part. Of course there's taxes. What bullshit is this, man?
video argued that his symptoms showed that he has PTSD from this. Maybe. All I know is that he couldn't stop crying thinking about it, and that to me is enough. This is literal psychological torture mixed in with war crimes. Jimmy has a lot to answer for. And now, other than Ava Chris Tyson being an absolute disgusting weirdo,
that Ava, ugh, fuck, dude. Yeah, Mr. Beast, you're in some fucking hot ass water, dude. Oh my god. Hiring pedophiles, torturing people. That's gonna look great in court.
we now know that someone who used to work there as a high-ranking manager was on the sex offender registry.
Yep.
The dude even appeared in videos, and for some reason, right? Some reason chose to put on a mask. I wonder why he's trying to hide his identity. His charge is from the state of Delaware. The victim's age is from 1 to 11 years old. That is ridiculous.
What? Oh my fucking god, dude.
Young. And his charge is 4th degree sexual intercourse. Victim less than 18 years old. The excuse of, oh, I didn't know, doesn't pass now, Jimmy. This is ridiculous.
Let me be honest. Pedophiles deserve the worst fucking possible punishment there is. Dude, that is fucked up.
Ridiculous. By the way, you know how Mr. Beast has this philanthropic project called Team Seas where he clears oceans and seas and beaches of trash? Well, it turns out he left heaps of trash during the filming of a video near a body of water.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of that video, he actually says...
Yeah, I watched this part too. He fucking didn't clean shit.
If you're wondering, yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after.
And then fucking lied about it.
This video.
DocPack ended up emailing the site in which Mr. Beast filmed, and they confirmed that he did indeed leave a lot of trash in this area. Interesting. The video ends with Jake crying but this time thanking DocPack profusely for finally letting him talk about this, something that he's been hiding inside of him for years, not just out of fear of repercussion from Mr. Beast and his company, but also because he doesn't want his friends to lose their jobs. This isn't just some other controversy anymore. People's lives are at stake here. The Beast games right now that are going on with Amazon already are threatening people's very existence. And Jake showed us that this isn't the first time Jimmy has done this. We need answers and we need changes now because this is unacceptable. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's 7 a.m. right now. I'm about to upload this video. I'll see you in the next one. I think I need a vacation. I love you so much. Mwah.
Thank you, Mujin. Definitely go subscribe to Mujin. That was a good video. And yeah, fuck Mr. Beast. He's fucked. All right. That is lesson of the day. Don't be a fucking piece of shit like Mr. Beast. Oh my god.